Musicians' Viewpoints. This podcast is by and for local musicians in all localities. I'm your host, Kevin Ronkko. Hey, this is Kevin Ronkko, and welcome to Musicians' Viewpoints. This is episode 7, and today we have a very special guest, Nat Peirce from Amesbury, Massachusetts. I had the distinct honor of giving him his first drum lessons a long time ago now, and since then he's been to Berklee School of Music and also has lived through a pandemic like all the rest of us just have. So I was curious to talk to him and see what he's up to and what he's thinking about music. So enjoy. Cool. So welcome to Musicians' Viewpoints, and today we have Nat Peirce.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So what have you been doing these days?
I've been teaching a lot. I work at a private high school in Amesbury, Massachusetts, teaching music. And I've been doing a lot of my own music, writing my own stuff, helping out my friends when they need me to play with them. Um, in particular, my friend Keegan, he's a great songwriter, and we play together. We have a duo, and we've been playing for a few years. We met at Berklee, and now we're just doing a duo thing. We've been in a few different bands together, but now we're just like doing our duo, and it's really good. It's very focused, and we get along, and it's going really well.
Cool.
And I'm living in Haverhill, Massachusetts, and I honestly got no complaints. Everything's going really well.
Sweet. Wow. That's great. I could imagine you would be teaching music. That doesn't surprise me. That's great.
Yeah,
Um,
I really enjoy it.
nice. Yeah, because you went to Berklee, is that correct?
Yep, yep. I went for the audio engineering degree, and but I've always taught music. I've worked with my dad for so many years. We had our own studios, and so I have a lot of experience teaching, and I also taught at School of Rock. So I just ended up with a lot of experience, and then my mom works at this high school, and she works at the front desk, and well, the person who was working there uh, no longer could do it, so I'm working there now. So it's a lot of good luck. So
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, your dad is a good friend of mine. I really enjoyed working with him.
yeah, I
Um,
remember you guys playing. That
yeah,
was a lot. That was a good time.
yeah, it was a fun band.
Yeah.
Um, so back about you though, tell me about the first band that you played in.
So um, the first band that I was playing with, where it was just me and a few friends, was I was 14 years old, and maybe I was 13, somewhere around there. We were called Ask Your Mother, and we it was just like a cover band, and we played like Rush covers, and we played Pat Benatar, and just like rock hits, like covers. And I remember we played "Fool in the Rain," Led Zeppelin,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and that group was pretty fun, but we couldn't really get anything done because we were kind of really young and we just like didn't know what we were doing. Um, but we sounded good when we rehearsed and then played. Like we played one gig, and it was like not bad. Um, but I learned a lot in that band because I learned that it's actually pretty difficult to do a band if you don't know how to concentrate and actually get everyone to learn stuff. Uh, and so I learned that, and then I joined a band when I was 16, which was more of like a punk band. And in that band, the guitar player wrote all the songs, and it was three people, and they were pretty easy songs. And we just like learned, 12 songs or something 12, 15 songs, and we were just playing gigs right away because we had learned, how to focus with a band, and just like we learned how to avoid the BS of doing a band. So um, those were my first two bands. The first one difficult, the second one um, got me playing out. So yeah.
Cool, cool. And what band have you played in that you really enjoyed in particular? Anything stand out?
Um, I really enjoyed so many different groups that I've played in, but in particular, I was thinking of talking about this thing I'm doing now with my friend, uh, the duo thing, because it's just his songs, and you know it's just guitar and drums, and it's very simple, but it sounds really good. And um, it's the first group that I have played with where I we feel like we really know what we're doing, and we can go and play and entertain people for an hour. um, and it's really fun. And when I listen back, it sounds like a really professional thing, and I haven't really felt that way up until now. So I'm just really proud of the thing we're doing right now.
Cool, cool. That's
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, a duo is a special thing when it works. So yeah, enjoy
yeah,
that. Yep.
yeah.
Um, what was your worst gig there?
One thing that stands out in particular is one time, um, it was with the punk band. I was probably around 17, 18 years old, and we were learning so many songs. We did our own stuff, and we were doing covers too. And we learned this one cover that I just really did not learn very well. And I was like, okay, here we go. And I think we were going to play a gig, and we learned the new song the day of the show. And when that we played that song, I just basically played it like I had no idea what the song was. Like I played like one of the parts of the it was just very obvious that I just didn't know the song. And everybody in the room knew what the song was because the punks like all know the same songs.
I,
And
mhm.
yeah, so they knew immediately that we were like messing it up. And it was just very like it was like, ooh, yeah, that's what happens when you just don't learn a thing.
Wow.
So that minute that like moment, I'll always remember, just because it was everyone was like, wow, like my band was like, wow, that was a disaster. Like it wasn't like a train wreck, like we had to stop, but it was just obviously wrong. And everyone knew it was a disaster, and it was pretty much my fault. So it was just like not a good feeling. That was a gig mare for sure.
That's a good story. Yeah, those punk songs, people are looking for the signature drum fills, and yeah, everything has to be a certain way, or people will disown knowing you.
Yeah, exactly. They go like, yeah, you're a poser.
Right.
So
So
yeah.
I kind of know this next question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. When did you first pick up an instrument, and how old were you?
Um, well, I first tried playing the drums when I was like 2 years old, or like one and a half. My grandfather got me a kit, an old Ludwig kit that was like just trashy, and all separate pieces and stuff. And I just fooled around in that. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I like didn't play until I was around 9. And my dad bought me a kit, a blue Pearl Session Custom kit, and that was in my basement. And then that's when I was taking lessons with you.
Yep.
And so that was my first introduction to actually focusing on playing. So I mean, that's when I actually um, started going down in the basement by myself and playing, and like playing along with records and stuff. But you know, I did that a little bit, but really, when I was 9, 10, 11, uh, I was into skateboarding. And then when I was 13, I took lessons from a Berkeley grad that my dad knew. And my dad got me a new kit, a Pearl Masters kit, which had like gold sparkles on it. And
Hmm.
that's when I started getting more serious about playing. Um, so yeah, it just was a progression from it. It just I just needed to learn how to take it seriously and then have fun doing it. And it took me a few years,
Cool.
but I had fun with it eventually. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I always thought you seemed like you were really enjoying it. So
Oh yeah, no, I've always enjoyed it.
cool.
Yeah, it's always been fun. I loved I remember jamming and just remembering how um I could get into a flow jamming. Even when I just didn't really know how to play very well, I could always understand how to jam with somebody
Right.
at an early age. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. That's wonderful to hear. So, what do you think about your local music scene?
Um, well, the music scene up where I'm at in New England, there are definitely venues to play and there are definitely places to go. Um, I just played a gig in Connecticut, this place called the Buttonwood Tree, and that place is really nice. We didn't have much of a crowd that day, but it was like a really nice venue, and I can imagine that they have good shows there that sell a lot of tickets. Um, and also, I mean, like, there's Boston venues that are really, really good. We played at Atwood's Tavern the other day, or
Hmm.
like maybe a month or so back, and that had a lot of people there that night because they were just eating dinner. And then I had a few friends come out. So it helps if you know people in the area, but I think that there are definitely places that people can play.
Cool.
It's not like New York City or LA where it's like there's a lot of venues, but even now, like because of COVID, there are barely any places to play right now. They're still trying to get back to what it was like before.
Right.
Because I lived in LA for a year. From what was it like? I came back here in October. Um, just because I like could not live in LA. It was just too much. It was just like way too much bullshit, bull crap for me. So, but there are a lot of places. There are a lot of places to play out there, but there are places to play here too. So I just think that the location, um, you don't have to take the location too seriously. If you get out there and say, all right, we're gonna play some gigs. Where can we play? I think that it's possible to have a good scene where you live. You know,
Yeah, yeah, I would agree.
yeah.
Um, what do you think about musicians who mostly play benefits instead of charging a professional fee?
I think that there's nothing wrong with playing, like a benefit. I think it's a good thing. And, at the end of the day, you're playing in front of people and whether or not there's money involved is kind of extra, I think. Um, I think that musicians can like if a musician is starting to get into getting paid like a professional fee, um, I think there's a transition point between, it's like uh, at a certain point you're not really getting paid just because you don't really know how it works or you're not confident that you can get paid. Um, so I think that like for a professional musician, I think that it's possible for them to do both. And it's just a matter of asking the venue, like how much do you pay usually? Um, just setting that precedent, just being like, are we getting paid? How much? You know, how much do you usually pay? Who do we talk to about getting paid? So I think, if if you play a benefit, like that's positive. It's a positive thing. That's great, But and if you get paid, that's also great. But I think getting paid is just a matter of knowing who to talk to and knowing what to ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So, and it's just a mindset thing. It's like at this point, yeah, we usually get paid for a gig. I mean, say you play at a bar or a restaurant, it's like people came in, they bought dinner, they bought drinks. It's like, it's like hook us up with some money,
exactly.
you know? So, so yeah, that's what I think about it.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I like that question. It seems like people are kind of all on the same page with how they're answering that one.
Yeah.
Um, so, what did you do during the pandemic?
Um, I actually, at the time, I had a studio that I was doing with my dad. Uh, and it was like a movie theater that was no longer a movie theater. So it was just this like huge room up in Merrimack, Massachusetts. And that place was sick. And we were there for a few years until COVID happened. And that's so uh, nobody was coming into the place. I was doing Zoom lessons for School of Rock and making no money and just sitting around most of the time. Um, so I was making my own songs. I was just like making my recording, you know, overdub city just over and over, which is what I like to do anyway. That's what I find fun, just like be alone and like record the tracks and just see what I can make because it's just so fun.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Um, yeah, it's just the best thing. So and everyone was like, stay inside, and I was like, okay, no problem. I'll just like be alone. I was like, I was like, wow, this is I get to have even more time just to make songs. Like that's fantastic. So it was a horrible thing. I mean, my dad got COVID. He had it for like 3 weeks, and he had low potassium, so he was like passing out and stuff. We had to call the ambulance multiple times. Um,
Hmm.
he made it through it, which was great. Um, and then the COVID closed down that studio, which was awful. But yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did during the pandemic. I made songs, and then when my dad had COVID, um, I hid in the basement and made more music. I think that was after we closed the studio. I just like hid in our basement and made more music. So just made music
Cool.
because I had to stay inside. So
It made the best of it.
yeah, I did.
Much of life is like that, I think.
Yep, yep,
Um,
all the time.
yeah, I was getting into making electronic music because of just the situation
Nice.
where I wasn't able to really record myself playing as much. So I was like, well, I still want to create something, so that's what
Right.
I, yeah. So I had fun.
Yeah, nice. It changes when you have to change something, it can change the stuff you're making.
Yep, yep.
It changes it up, which is really good.
It also changes, my perspective changed on what qualifies as legit, too.
Yeah.
I was doing things that I had ruled out as things you don't do. So
Right, right. Yeah, and it's, sometimes the rules, you think there are rules and then you like stop following those rules and you're like, "Oh, okay, well if I just don't follow that one,
right,
then this is cool."
and I'm having a lot more fun this way.
Right, right. Nice.
Yeah. So
Very
what
nice.
band blew your mind the first time you heard them?
Um, I mean, like there are a few. When I was young, I heard Rush, and it was just my like brain, just like it was just like over. It was just like, okay, I like this. It was just when I first heard Rush, it was like I realized that stuff that was weird could be cool. They have this like we're kind of weird, but we're also very cool. And so that just changed my perspective around, flipped it all around, you know. Um, like they just sometimes Rush, they just do such goofy things with their songs, and but everyone goes like, yeah, that's sick that they did that. And it's you know, a lot of bands wouldn't do that, you know. um and part of it's like the odd time signatures, part of it's like the vocals and the melodies and stuff.
Hmm.
They just write in a very, in a kind of a strange way sometimes. Like they just choose to do certain things that other people wouldn't do. And like the bass lines like are written kind of strangely sometimes. I don't know, it's just, it's hard
Mm.
to explain. But when I first heard that stuff, I was like, oh, okay, so these guys are, you know, they're kind of strange, but they're cool. Uh, so I like them,
Cool.
and they kind of blew my mind when I first started listening to music. And then, I mean, I think I can just say that it was them because um, I want to give them the credit for blowing my mind. I don't really want to give it, you know, because there are a few different groups that have kind of made me go like, whoa, that's kind of cool. But like, I don't know, Rush made me want to play music. That like solidified the thing for me.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh,
So yeah,
Neil Peart was a huge influence on my playing, certainly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You know, he was just so consistently awesome all the time.
Yeah.
You know, so creative too.
Yeah. And I'm a huge prog head. I mean, I just love, Yes and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yep.
Um,
And they were influenced by Yes too. They were influenced
they
by all
were
that stuff.
exactly.
That they did their own kind of like heavy thing, which was awesome.
Yeah, they made it rock a lot more. It had almost a swing, I would say. I mean, I may be
Yeah,
so bold to say that.
yeah. Less, it was less like acoustic, smooth. Like it was like, I think a lot of the prog stuff was like soft rock prog, and Rush made it like loud prog,
Yes.
which everyone just was like, yes, hell yeah, that's awesome. So,
Exactly. Yeah, great answer. Okay, how do you see the future of local live music?
I think it's either gonna be lame and full of apathy, or it's gonna be awesome and better. I think it can go two ways.
Hmm.
I think that if people really put their best foot forward and make new music that's really cool, and choose to be creative and choose to say like, hey, listen, like it's about the music, it's about our live show. You know, how can we make our live show the best it can be? You know, I think that if people do that, then live music will get really good, and like will get a lot better. I think that if people start to be apathetic and they're like, like it's hard to get gigs, like you can't make money doing it, it's all been done, you know, um, I don't know, like no one comes to our shows, like blah 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 blah. Like if people are apathetic, then it won't um, get any better. But if people are creative, um, it can get a lot better. And like even local stuff in the small towns and like small, you know, places that you wouldn't think there's a scene. If those things happen, then it'll be sick. It'll get awesome. Um, that's how I feel about it. It can go
Cool.
two ways.
Nice. Yeah, I hope it goes the better way, like you're talking.
Yeah, me too. Me
What's
too.
but I like your point about how can we make this the best it can be. I mean that
Yeah,
attitude right there. So I think it's the attitude, right? That's going to make
yeah.
the difference. Yeah.
Right, right. I hope people have a better attitude going forward, because it can be awesome. I mean, there's nothing stopping people from making awesome music and playing
Yep.
great shows. There's nothing stopping it. It doesn't matter like the time period or like the circumstances around everything. It's just like there are still venues, you can still make music. It's just we got to just go do it really well,
Yep.
you know. So yeah.
I love that. So, on that note, how do you go about getting gigs?
Um, so usually I'll just email a place and just ask if we can play. I'll ask them like the details, or I'll go to the place and talk to the person there. Um, or if I know a person who works there, I'll talk to them. Um, yeah, I just try to get in contact with someone as soon as possible at the place and just see how it works. Um, that's usually, I mean, recently, mostly it's been done through email. Um, yeah, I mean, it's not easy sometimes because uh, I've been getting ghosted a lot recently. Like people just like ignore my emails and stuff and ignore my calls. And I think that might have something to do with like the price of everything is going up. So it's harder to like people don't want to pay musicians and it's harder to like pay for the venue and all that stuff. So they're not as into booking people right now. Um, and that might have something to do with like they see my link, they see that like basically um, I'm just starting out, the stuff I'm doing right now is kind of like new stuff. So it's not like I'm playing with a super popular band. So they're a lot of the times I think they don't want to take a chance. But usually it's through email or just trying to get in touch with somebody that works at the place.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, rejection's definitely always part of it, but
Yeah.
you just keep pounding on those doors and
Yeah.
sending out those emails.
Yep. Because they can, I mean, it's entirely a possibility that you can get a gig. I mean, people do it all the time. You know, it's just the persistence of it. I think is difficult, but you just got to keep trying because you
Yep.
could get a really good gig.
Yeah, I'm starting to be on the booking side of things. I told myself I'm just not going to worry about that, and when I did that, I started getting gigs without even trying, uh,
Nice.
because other people were doing that work. But now I'm like, I think I it's up to me now, apparently. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you're just like,
yeah,
wow, I guess I need to do this thing.
yeah. Uh, Especially as we're into this new normal, trying to figure out what it is and where it's landing and where it's
Right, right,
moving. So
right.
but that was all the questions that I had. Was there anything you wanted to say to the world, or whatever audience this has?
Um, I guess musicians try to make sick music. Just don't like just keep trying to make your own thing that make it really good. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I'm glad I did that thing, or you're gonna look back and go, I wish I did something. So it's best if you try your best on the quality side of this stuff. Um, Quality over quantity, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And I have a band camp. It's Law Years at Bandcamp or lawyears.bandcamp.com.
Lie
It's
years.
also
How would you spell that? Just for
it's
people listening.
LAWYEARS. It's kind of like Law and Order, but it's Law Years.
Okay.
And the other group I'm playing with, the duo, which I'm very proud of, is Keegan James Blood. And that's on YouTube and all the streaming. So once again, Keegan James Blood.
Cool.
And that's all I got to say.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely check out Nat Peirce and his projects, people. He's somebody I'm proud of. I was fortunate to give him a drum lesson or two when he first started, but then he went on to Berkeley, studied with people like Dave Weckl.
I didn't study with Dave Weckl.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you did.
No,
Sorry.
I know it's okay. I studied with Kenwood Denard though. Do
Oh,
you know
okay.
Kenwood Denard?
Yes, yes.
Yep. Kenwood Denard, and I studied with I'm blanking. Let's leave it at Kenwood Denard.
Okay, that's impressive.
Um, yeah, my he was my first Berkeley teacher. When I was a freshman, he like roasted me horribly. He just like showed me how I was where I was lacking in every single way. So and then we started to become friends later on, and it was less of a brutal you know
Relationship.
yeah, but it was a good experience though.
Cool, cool.
So yeah. Oh, the other teacher, Billy Kilson. You know Billy Kilson?
That name does not sound familiar to me, but that
Okay,
doesn't mean anything.
gotcha. Kilson. He played with Dave Holland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was my other teacher, and he was also a fantastic, fantastic teacher. Um, he was a really nice guy. Um, yeah,
Cool.
I've had really good experiences. I got no complaints, and it's all because I just played music, just focused on that. You know?
It's a beautiful thing when you land it where you're supposed to be. And you just, step into your life like you've done. So I'm impressed. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. I appreciate doing this podcast. It's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, this will be up probably by next week. I'm gonna bounce this from one computer to another and all that kind of stuff. But
Awesome.
this is a fun project. I don't know how long these will last, but I wanted to interview people who I thought were cool or wanted to get their voice out there. So
Yeah, awesome. No, keep doing it because I think podcasts are where it's at right now.
yeah, I think so too. Definitely fun. I mean, at first
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's not really my comfort zone, but actually it kind of is. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yep. People check them out. People are trying to
Yep.
look for something to entertain them.
That's right. I,
You
I
know.
was I was listening to a podcast with I think Bill Maher, and he was saying, there's a market for this. People just like to hear other people talk. And I'm like,
It's true.
really? Maybe I should do something like that. So here we are.
Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool. Well, I
All right,
guess
Kevin.
happy trails. I'll keep in touch.
Awesome. Are you
I'll,
so you're in Oregon right now?
yes, I'm in
Just to
Oregon
confirm.
in
Okay.
Corvallis,
Now,
Oregon. Yep.
nice. I was just up there in Hood River
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep.
around about 6 months ago. Actually over the summer, I was visiting my uncle. He's up in the wilderness in Hood River. Um, we had a really good fun time up there hiking and like doing all this stuff. It was really fun. I like it up there.
Oh, yeah. This is a beautiful state.
It's a beautiful, very beautiful.
I before I agreed to move somewhere, I had to know that it was, somewhere nice. So I wasn't leaving somewhere nice for somewhere crappy. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what happened to me when I went to LA. I was like, oh, this is like not nice.
it's yeah, you have to drive everywhere in California. That's the biggest thing. It's
Yeah,
not pedestrian friendly, which I don't like that.
yeah,
That's where my line is kind of is.
yeah. Um, my thing was that uh, it feels like you're breathing in toxic air constantly. I was like, this is gross. I don't want this anymore. So
I can
that's the
relate.
city.
Yeah, actually, we were in San Diego, and I guess it was January. My wife and I, she had a conference, and we were bar hopping, but
Yeah,
it took to walk 5 miles. It took hours and hours because every block you have to wait for the traffic light, and these they're not short lights. So
right.
I think we ended up taking a taxi on the way back because there was um, it started flooding. It was not really monsoon season, but it decided to be when we were there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
Yeah, it's a drag. It's a drag down there.
I can understand that. I mean I like California, but it's not. I don't want to live there. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I decided.
Um,
But yeah,
but you're in a good spot in New England. I mean, I always thought I would live in New England and not move anywhere else. But you never know in life what's going to happen. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like I can focus really well up here. It's just like I'm not really worried about the outside. I'm not worried about, you know, where I'm living. I'm just like it's easy to stay focused and like, you know, um, focus on my music, and it's just easier,
cool.
to live in a place that I know and understand. And I wanna do some. I wanna like bring some music here. I wanna like do. Uh, you know, I wanna start something here where most people would say like, oh, there's no music there. You know, I want to try to do something. So
You should. There are music scenes everywhere, so that's just a weird mentality that people get into. But
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
so I agree, and I think the secret to life itself is to have projects that you are passionate about, and things that you can't stop thinking about. Um,
oh
just
yeah,
life would be really. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to live it if I weren't able to immerse myself in the things that make me happy.
no, I 1,000% agree with you. You got to have something to do and focus on, or else it's just becomes so boring.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind watching TV, but I mean, during the pandemic, there was a point where I'm like, is this it? We're just going to sit and watch TV. I mean,
Right.
this is what the world's turned into.
I know.
So I started, trying to find ways to get active, do something. So,
Yeah, you got to do stuff.
yep,
Everyone's got to do stuff. It's just so much better for your mental health,
exactly.
you know.
And music is, I think, the most powerful thing you can do for your brain.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And then drums are all about the central nervous system, right? I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah.
where they attack, right?
Yep. Hell
So
yeah.
I always feel better after I've been playing drums for a while. I'm like, I think it's the endorphins. They just do something.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, wow, I feel good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It sucks to not be doing that. This is the
Right,
moral of the story.
right. When I'm in a funk, I usually can pinpoint it to the fact that I'm not playing enough.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like the potter who is not at the wheel,
Hmm.
is instead, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not at the wheel. So got to get back
Right.
to that,
Yeah.
back to the
Hell,
wheel.
hell yeah. That's what I'm
Yep,
talking about.
yep. So
Cool.
all right, I think this is probably a wrap, unless you had anything else to add.
No, I'm all set. This has been
Cool, cool.
awesome.
It has been
So glad,
awesome.
so glad to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you, Nat. And I'm glad that you're on Facebook, so I know right where I can see what you're up to.
Yep.
And yeah, keep it up, and I'll be watching. Oh, the other thing, if you wanted to send me any kind of music clip that I could
Yeah.
play at the end of this to feature anything, I know you're. I don't know how you feel about that, but you're welcome to send me anything that you would like to put on there.
No, I would sure. Yeah. Would you like? I'll just give you a file. I'll just
Cool.
like
Yeah,
Google Drive you a file, maybe.
an MP3. Yeah,
Yeah.
just I don't
Sure.
know, just a short clip, 5 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll just give you a song that I recently put together.
Cool. We'll put it on at the end, which
Awesome.
will be around in this spot.
Okay.
So As a matter
Sounds
of fact,
good.
people, listen to Nat Peirce. Here it is on the other side of this recording.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right. Thanks, Nat. Talk to
All
you
right.
later.
Yep. Have a good one. See
You
ya.
too. Bye. Wow. That was just great. What a great interview with Nat Peirce. And now I leave you with a piece of music that he produced called Law Years. It's really great, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did.
Oh my God, I just made it. Hello. How to be a great opening act. Being the opener for a more established act can be one of the best ways to make new fans. I can pinpoint specific opening gigs where I gained a large number of fans who are still incredibly supportive to this day. I love opening slots for more established acts because I get to win over new audiences. I sometimes prefer playing in front of a room of people who have never seen me before rather than a big room full of fans. Sometimes when you get an opening slot for a touring or established act, make sure you approach it right. The number one rule about opening is to play 1 minute less than your allotted time slot. Meaning, if you get a 45-minute slot, play 44 minutes, pack up your gear quickly, and get off the stage. I don't care how good you think you are, or how much the audience is loving you. Never play long. And especially if it's a local show with 4 bands on the bill. It's just disrespectful to play longer than your time slot. This signals to the other bands that you think you're better than them, and the audience prefers to hear you more than them. You have to understand the purpose of being selected to open an established act show. The main reason you are on the bill is to bring people out. Even established acts that can get a few hundred out still would like to an additional 50 that you can bring as an opener.